Hi, my name is Alexandra Van Milligan. I'm the owner of Double A Design, and today I'm going to teach you how I build a 12-hour website. So usually with a site like this, we're looking at something that's going to be lower budget, so $1,000 or less. And usually my client's looking for a quick launch, so 30 days or less. So if that's something you're looking for, please reach out. Today, the site that I'm going to be building is gatsbyproject.com. And this is a site for myself. So I'm the client. And it's a site that I designed to tie together the various components of a multidisciplinary art installation that I'm working on. It's a passion project of mine. So again, if I did this with a client, I would need to spread these steps over a series of days, but because I'm the client, I did it all in 12 straight hours. So there are 4 steps that I took to create this site. The first thing that I did was I wrote user stories. So I thought about who my user is, and then I wrote the tasks that they would need to complete. I then composed the website copy, built a template, chose a template, and then built my site. And so that's how I was able to build this in a single day, but I did do some things in advance. And so if you are using this as a tutorial to build your site in 12 hours, I'm making some assumptions about the pre-work that you've done. So I'm guessing that you have thought deeply about your business, your client, and your product, that you've completed the branding process, which I'll show you my brand in just a minute, that you have a few benchmark sites or example sites that you've picked out that you sort of know what you're shooting for, and that you're a fairly competent writer. So 6 of the 12 hours that I set aside for a 12-hour build are composition. If you need help with composition, I would love to help you with that. Go ahead and reach out. If you answered no to any of these questions, hit the pause button and do a little bit more pre-work, because otherwise I believe you will find this to be very frustrating. So if you have done all of those things, let's go ahead and get started with user stories. I'm going to share my screen. And these are my user stories for the Gatsby project. So again, this site that I'm building is for an art installation, and there are probably going to be 2 types of users. And again, I thought about those in advance and did some brainstorming as well. And then I just transferred those 2 different user types to this spreadsheet. So my 2 users are going to be customers or people interested in identity formation and or fine art, and then also venues. So bars, breweries, distilleries, yoga studios, someone who would be willing to host this work in the fall. And they're both kind of looking for different things. So that's why I separated out just the 2 different user groups, because a venue is going to be looking for something different than a customer or a client or someone who's just interested in taking a look at the art, right? So I have 4 columns here, and you can create a copy of this spreadsheet. It's pretty traditional user story spreadsheet. I've got my user type, the task, the priority, the page assignment. So what internal page will this content actually live on? And then alternate page names. So if I didn't want to call it gallery, what else might I call this? So the first row that I have here, my user type is going to be a client or a customer. And as a customer, I think one of the first things that the user is going to want to do is view the art. And I think that's a high priority. I'm going to put that on the gallery page, but I could also call that work or art. As a venue, the priorities are going to be a little bit different. So a venue might want to make sure that the artist's views align with their brand. So if this installation were culturally insensitive or offensive in any way, they probably don't want it in the restaurant, right? So I'm going to put a little bit about, my values, my passion on the site as well. I'm going to call that about. So I've listed those here. This is not an exhaustive list. I should have done probably like 23 of these, right? Some of them are just almost second nature at this point. So I didn't list like contact. I know that every website is going to have a contact page. If this is your first time building a 12-hour site, I would list all of them because you don't want to miss anything. But of course, my customer might want to return a product. They might want to call me. They might want to send me an email, all of those things as well. So you could have up to 20 or 30 user stories. And again, I would suggest doing all of those and going the long way. So I set aside 2 hours to do this. It might take you a little bit less time. Again, this is something that I would review with my client if I was not the client. Otherwise, if I am the client, I'm just going to move straight to step 2, which is my web copy. So when I write web copy, I usually use a Google Doc because I can assign all of these categories to the text. So when I'm on the web page itself, I know whether something's a heading, an H1, an H2, H3, or body text, or a call to action. So this is my home page, and I think of a home page as a table of contents. So all of these priorities that I just laid out, I want to make sure that at least the high and maybe the medium priorities as well, my user can get there from my home page. So this is like a table of contents, and I want to start with the high priorities first. So I said that one of my high priorities is that my client, my customer might want to view the art. So they might want to go in person to the gallery, or they might want to view it online. So as you can see, we've got visit the installation, and this is going to be during the event. So after I found someone to host the work, I want that CTA to be visit the installation, call to action. But before the event, I'll probably use like a stay in touch or learn more CTA button, because there's nowhere that I can really take them until I've assigned a venue, right? So scrolling down this page, I've assigned all of these pieces with H1 or H2, and then given them a call to action. So what could someone do if they wanted to know a little bit more, right? I gave them a little bit of a taste, and now I need a button. And if you're doing sort of the full process of UX design, a really nice thing to do would be to test these CTAs after you've gone through the 12-hour process to make sure that they landed. So let's pretend that I'm all done. I've written the home page and all of my internal pages as well. I've set aside my 6 hours. I had somebody proofread it, or my client went over it and said, gave me my suggestions. And now I'm done and I'm ready to move on to the next stage, which is choosing a template. So with the 12-hour build, I always start with a template. And the reason behind this is it saves a lot of time and money for my clients. And pretty much all of these templates can be modified. So you keep the structure similar, but you rebrand them with the client's logo, their fonts, their colors. And again, that's something that I've already done in advance. So I have my logos right here. I have my fonts and my colors picked out. And then I will take those into the template and really customize it without starting from scratch. So that said, as I look at the templates, I'm trying not to be distracted by the imagery that's being used, because I'm not going to use that imagery, right? I'm going to use my own imagery. I'm really looking for structure. So I need 5 pages. Are there 5 pages, right? I need a long scrolling landing page. Can I find a long scrolling landing page, right? Because this right here is all the images are just right at the top of the page. I already wrote all of my copy, and I know that I have copy right at the top of the page. So it's just not going to work, right? So that's what I'm looking for when I choose a template. Not really the imagery, because all of these are going to be beautiful templates because they're being carried by the images that the designer chose. So I'm going to set aside an hour to really just explore a couple of different templates. You might even like play around with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Just to see how they fit, because you're not paying for the template, it comes free. So you can actually do a couple of different iterations and then finally settle on one that you really like. That would be about an hour's worth of work. So after that, I've chosen my template and I'm going to move to design. So I'm taking the copy that I wrote, the headers, the body copy, and the calls to action, which these will be buttons on the page, and I'm transitioning them to the template that I have now customized with my colors, fonts, and themes. And what that looks like as a finished project is this. So I'm not going to take you through the whole page because I want you to go there yourself. It's gatsbyproject.com. I'm super, super excited to launch this coming up on Monday. Worked with some amazing people in Grand Rapids, Sam Cooper Photography and Samina Jengda. She helped with all of the hairstyling. And then I have a bunch of other people helping out with some of the other creative components. So huge shout out to everyone who contributed. Definitely go check out the website and let me know if you need help with web design. Again, my name is Alexandra Van Milligan. Feel free to call, text, let me know if you need help. Again, this project was under $1,000 and it has about a 30-day launch. Have a great day, guys.